The Middle East is once again engulfed in a major conflict. This time, it is a direct war between two of the region's most powerful adversaries, Iran and Israel. The fighting escalated quickly, drawing in global powers and, honestly, threatening stability across the world. The conflict is not just a regional dispute. It has global implications for security, the economy, and international relations. What began as a shadow war, fought for years through proxies and covert operations, has now exploded into open and direct military confrontation. The world is watching nervously as the situation develops day by day, with each side showing little sign of backing down from its position. The current war started on February 28, 2026. On that day, Israel, with clear support from the United States, launched a massive military operation. The stated goal was to degrade Iran's military capabilities. Israeli warplanes and missiles targeted a wide range of sites across Iran. These included military bases, missile production facilities, and other key strategic infrastructure. The initial wave of attacks was intense and widespread. They focused heavily on areas in and around the capital, Tehran, and other major cities, signaling a serious and determined effort to cripple Iran's power to strike back. One of the most significant events of the opening strikes was the death of Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. He was killed in an Israeli airstrike on his compound in Tehran. This was a decapitation strike aimed at the very top of the Iranian regime. The loss of the supreme leader, who held ultimate authority in Iran for decades, created a massive power vacuum. His son, Mojtaba Khamenei, is seen as a likely successor, but the official process requires a decision from Iran's assembly of experts. This single act dramatically raised the stakes of the conflict, turning it into an existential fight for the Iranian government. Iran's response was swift and forceful. It immediately launched hundreds of ballistic missiles and thousands of drones. These attacks targeted not only Israel but also American military installations across the region. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, announced successive waves of strikes, vowing to make the attackers pay a heavy price. The retaliation was not limited to military targets. Iran also expanded its attacks to include Gulf states that host U.S. forces, such as the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait. This widened the conflict zone and pulled neighboring countries directly into the line of fire. The conflict is not just being fought between Iran and Israel. Other countries and groups have become deeply involved, creating a complex and, well, dangerous web of alliances. The United States is playing a central role alongside Israel. The White House has declared its goal is to gain full control of Iranian airspace. U.S. forces are actively participating in the air campaign, and U.S. Central Command has reported a significant reduction in Iran's ability to launch missiles. On the other side, reports suggest that Russia is providing Iran with valuable intelligence, such as satellite imagery of U.S. military positions, to help guide its retaliatory strikes. A second front in the war opened almost immediately in Lebanon. Iran's powerful proxy, Hezbollah, began launching rockets and drones into northern Israel on March 1st. The group said its aim was to relieve pressure on Iran by forcing Israel to divide its military attention. Israel responded with heavy airstrikes across Lebanon. It has targeted Hezbollah headquarters, command centers, and fighters, killing dozens of operatives. The Israeli military ordered the forced displacement of all civilians living south of Lebanon's Litani River, creating a new humanitarian crisis on its northern border. The Gulf region has also become a battleground. Iran has directly targeted several of its Arab neighbors with missiles and drones. Bahrain reported that Iranian drones struck residential buildings and a hotel in its capital, Manama. Saudi Arabia announced it had intercepted multiple missiles and drones heading for its territory. The United Arab Emirates has been a frequent target. These attacks on Gulf states, which have tried to de-escalate tensions with Iran in recent years, have shattered regional security. They have forced these nations to rely more heavily on their own defense systems and their alliances with the United States. The conflict has also spilled into Iraq. Iranian-backed militias, operating under the banner of the Islamic resistance in Iraq, have claimed responsibility for daily attacks on US and other foreign bases. A drone attack in the southern city of Basra targeted a compound for foreign oil workers, causing fires at facilities belonging to American companies Halliburton and KBR. In a surprising move, the Lebanese government has reportedly moved to ban IRGC activity on its soil and deport its members, showing the immense pressure the war is putting on governments across the entire region. The human cost of this war is growing at an alarming rate. According to the Iranian Red Crescent, more than 1,300 people have been killed in Iran since the US-Israeli attacks began. One of the most tragic incidents was an attack on an elementary school in the city of Minab. Iran said it was an American or Israeli strike that killed 171 children. The United States has said it is investigating whether the explosion may have been caused by a malfunctioning Iranian munition. In Lebanon, the health ministry reported that hundreds have been killed and many more wounded in just a few days of Israeli strikes. The conflict is having a severe impact on the global economy. The fighting has disrupted shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, a vital channel for the world's oil supply. As a result, the price of oil has skyrocketed. Brent crude, a global benchmark, jumped to over $90 a barrel. This represents a nearly 30% increase in just 1 week, the largest such spike in years. Stock markets have also reacted negatively. The S&P 500 in the United States had its worst week of 2026, dropping by 2% as investors worried about the economic fallout from the war. The economic pain is being felt far and wide. Qatar's energy minister issued a stark warning that the war has the potential to bring down the economies of the world. The sudden rise in energy costs threatens to fuel inflation and slow down economic growth globally. In the United States, the economy showed unexpected signs of weakness, losing 90,000 jobs in February. While it is too early to link this directly to the war, the conflict adds a major new layer of uncertainty for businesses and consumers who were already facing a fragile economic environment around the globe. The fighting has also extended to the high seas. US forces have engaged in a naval campaign to destroy Iran's maritime assets. The Pentagon reports that it has destroyed more than 30 Iranian naval vessels. This includes the sinking of a major destroyer, the Iris Dana, off the coast of Sri Lanka, which resulted in the deaths of over 100 sailors. Civilian shipping is also under threat. More than a dozen attacks on commercial vessels have been reported in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz since the conflict began, making these critical waterways extremely dangerous for international trade. World leaders are responding to the crisis with a mix of hardline demands and desperate calls for de-escalation. US President Donald Trump has demanded Iran's unconditional surrender. He has defined this as the point where Iran no longer poses any threat to the United States or its allies. Iran, however, has rejected any possibility of negotiations. Its foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, stated that Iran is confident it can defend itself against any attack, including a ground invasion. He has ruled out any ceasefire talks, citing a previous conflict in 2025, where he claims Israel was the one to ask for a halt to the fighting. Global powers are taking sides. As mentioned, Russia is allegedly providing intelligence support to Iran. There are also concerns that China may be preparing to help Iran financially. Evidence suggests China shipped a large quantity of a key missile propellant component to Iran in late 2025, raising questions about its role. Meanwhile, the US and its allies are looking for creative ways to bolster their defenses. The United States and Qatar are in talks with Ukraine to buy advanced interceptor drones and electronic warfare technology to counter Iran's drone attacks, a sign of how battle-tested Ukrainian technology is now in high demand. The conflict poses a grave danger to the entire world. A full-scale war between Iran and Israel, with direct US involvement, could destabilize the entire Middle East for a generation. It risks a wider regional war that could draw in other countries, including nuclear-armed powers. The disruption to oil supplies is already sending shockwaves through the global economy. A prolonged conflict could trigger a global recession. There is also the risk of a massive humanitarian catastrophe, with millions of people potentially displaced and in need of aid in Iran, Lebanon, and beyond. The future remains deeply uncertain. The cycle of attack and retaliation could escalate further. The possibility of miscalculation is extremely high, where one side misjudges the other's intentions, leading to an even more devastating response. The key question is whether there is any path to de-escalation. At present, with both sides locked in a deadly fight and demanding total victory, the prospects for diplomacy seem bleak. The world holds its breath, hoping that leaders can find a way to step back from the brink before the conflict spirals completely out of control.